Bay Area Brawler, Skylar Greenberg, and your Colonial Champion, Sean McCoy. Welcome to the Court Martial Podcast!
ACPW and NWL come together for the 4th season. I am the Colonist, and welcome to the Court Martial Podcast. This is the podcast made by wrestling fans for wrestling fan smarks and anyone who wants to give it a listen. We talk about wrestling, we book our own wrestling, and we show the wrestling companies how it's done, and then they steal mercilessly from us on a routine basis. Maybe not to the exact T, but I don't see any royalty checks coming in. But speaking of royalty, there are two royal bookers, the people who are the kings of booking here today. And we are going to once again demonstrate that to you and the public at large. I am your Colonial Champion, Sean McCarty, as I mentioned before, proprietor of ACPW, but with me, as always, the man of the hour, the man with the power too sweet to be sour. He is the Bay Area Brawler and the proprietor of the NWL and rapper aficionado, meaning that anytime that he has a whole bag of candies, he makes sure to keep all the rappers in a little corner, and he got a little pyramid of rappers, and that's what he uses to write his acclaimed freestyles. Skylar Greenberg, how you doing, my man?
Well, you're all going to get a freestyle later today, that's for sure.
Well, it's going to be a style. I don't know if it's going to be free.
Well, it's going to be something. But
yeah.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Noted Boston Bruins fan, Skylar Greenberg here.
That's a lie.
I'm joining the bandwagon. Make room, Sean.
Well, I'm not on the bandwagon. I've been a Bruins fan. You could get in the trunk. I'm in like the seat behind the passenger seat. Yeah, y'all are in the way back, like in the end of the truck bed, where we just installed a pool with a couple of tarps. So.
Okay, so.
Just to also commemorate the fact that the Sharks are dead in the water.
So that makes me the dirty illegal Mexican that hides in the truck and has to clean everything up when you guys are done with your parties.
Those are your words, not my words. I was more referring to the fact that we made a truck bed in the back to remind you of water because the Sharks are dead in the water, and now you're jumping on the Bruins bandwagon, seeing how they're having like an almost historic season. But I don't know what that means come playoff time, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about ACPW and NWL, and while Skylar is grieving the loss of his star player of the San Jose Sharks and also devising ways to enhance his show, particularly when it comes to the one segment that I have mentioned previously, you're going to get the 30th episode of ACPW. And
Number 30, man, the big 3-0.
That's right, and that is also including all the quote-unquote pay-per-view events that we have, like the 3 big ones. This is 30 episodes that we have put together, not counting drafts. And we are here in Richmond, Virginia, actually. And I believe we were because we were in Richmond before. We should run a different town in Virginia, but that's okay. We'll stick with it.
Well, in many ways, Virginia is probably your big, like, most southern, like, city that you run.
It's a bigger town. I mean, and we also have a couple of people in the area. You know, Mickey's hometown is Richmond, and of course, Mark Briscoe is in West Virginia, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump, I believe. But it's West Virginia just isn't really a state that we could really go to draw, unfortunately. At least I don't think so.
Right, but it's the same thing is that, like, with California, the big 2 hubs are San Jose, the Bay Area in general, and Los Angeles, which a lot of people I know either live in LA or live in San Jose. So it's kind of like it's like your headquarters, basically.
Well, I've got a lot of different places I run, but it's definitely, I would say that I'm probably more in like a Tampa, Florida area, but that doesn't mean that Richmond hasn't been very good to us, even though I may not have been very good to Richmond.
Well, we're not talking about Norfolk, Virginia. That one was legitimate.
No, that was Norfolk. That's right. That was Norfolk, Virginia. We're in Richmond, Virginia. A little bit different. But we have 12 segments on this show, and this show is dedicated to the life and memory of Jay Briscoe, who, of course, as we covered on the podcast, passed away in a car accident right at the beginning of the year. And tragically, because he was, of course, a member of ACPW, and Mark and Jay had just won tag belts, we now have JR basically at the beginning of this show saying, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you have already heard and known, ACPW tag champion Jay Briscoe has passed away tragically. And while all of us are still mourning Jay's death here and everywhere, we still have to move on as a company, and we will continue to honor the memory of Jay Briscoe here tonight as Mark, in our main event tonight, Mark will be addressing the crowd here tonight about his future and just the outpouring of support that he has received in honor of his brother, as well as the remaining members of the Briscoe family. As ACPW moves on, we will be crowning new tag team champions, but we will be doing this in our May show at the Showdown in Cincy, because we are coming out of Cincinnati, Ohio for that show. And in the meantime, we are going to be having an 8-team tournament with 2 of the quarterfinal matches tonight, 2 of the quarterfinal matches next week, and then the semifinal matches the week following, and then boom shakalaki, May show, Showdown in Cincy, where we will have the tag team championship finals.
Well, you know, we're doing March Madness before March Madness.
That's right. Would you like to hear the bracket?
Oh, come on. It's March. It's brackets. Give it to me.
That's right. So fill in your brackets. Now, and actually, that would be kind of a fun promotion to do, like for a fan giveaway. You know, we're going to post the brackets here, and if you cast your votes, we'll give you the first 2 because of what happens this week, but you fill in the rest, and the most accurate get, like, a t-shirt or something for free. Free merch, like $50 at the merch store, whatever. Something like that. We'll get
2 free tickets to the show in Cincinnati.
That's right. So...
But you gotta get 100% of the bracket right.
That's right. So, the bracket is as follows. On the left side, it is the Authors of Pain, who will be debuting later on with Paul Ellering against Ford and Dawkins. We have the Varsity Blondes versus Bobby Roode and Andrade.
Okay.
We have the Gun Club debuting, Fresh Young Upstart Team versus Outlaw Inc. And we have the main event of our show match-wise tonight, which is FTR versus Wrestling's Finest in Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong.
Okay, Sean, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
There's a tag team that's missing from this tournament.
You're right.
That's all I'm going to say.
You're right. And I'm not disagreeing with you. You're right. They are omitted from this tournament because I'm not using them yet. That's a slow burn. That's a slow burn. You're going to have to wait a little bit.
But I will say that FTR Wrestling's Finest could be the best match, maybe of the whole tournament, and you're getting it in the first round.
That's right. And you're getting it actually, that is our last matchup of the evening, as it is. So stay tuned for that. And folks, once again, this is in honor of Jay Briscoe. Thank you very much. Rest in peace, Jay, and enjoy the show. And then we go to our signature and blah, 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 and all that. And
a new commentary team.
That's right. And we start with Matt Stryker and the new member of commentary, former ACPW champion Titus O'Neil. And Matt and Titus, I felt like this was the best place for Titus. He could actually bring some good commentary, I think, to the table as the babyface that I've made him and just as the all-around great guy. He doesn't necessarily have to say heel stuff that doesn't really add. That's not really the way that my format is. You know, I don't really heel out the commentators any. You know. Which,
during the territory days, you never really had a heel commentator. You just had people who called the matches. It was only when WWF rolled around with Gorilla Monsoon and then Jerry the King Lawler acting as heels. That's when everyone's like, okay, you have to have a heel commentary. Now.
Right, or it wasn't over the top. Like, Ernie Ladd wasn't over the top. Even though he was a heel on commentary, he wasn't a heel commentator. You know the difference? It's like, he was a heel who was on commentary, but he wasn't so bombastic that it took away or it detracted or it added more to, like Heenan, he was seamless with it, but it was a little more casual, I guess, would be the way I'd put it.
Looking at you, 2011 Michael Cole.
That's right. And so, Titus and Stryker, yeah, that was insufferable. Titus and Stryker run down the card. We've got quite an interesting set of matches. Of course, Mark Briscoe, we are going to hear from him at the end of the night. We are also going to hear from the new ACPW champion, MJF, after his dastardly actions regarding Cody Rhodes, who is, we have not heard an update on his condition yet. So stay tuned for that as we get it. Of course, we talked before, as JR mentioned, FTR versus Wrestling's Finest. We also have a #1 contenders match for the at Showdown in Cincy for the ACPW Women's Championship. It is going to be Alexa Bliss versus Serena Deeb.
A rematch.
Yes. But this time as a #1 contenders match for Shayna Baszler's ACPW Women's Championship.
Alrighty.
We have also mentioned Bobby Roode and Andrade versus the Varsity Blondes. We are going to get that match tonight as well. As well as you're going to hear from Dr. Britt Baker and the Cult of Cornette. And you're going to get Damian Priest in action, Eli Drake in action, and a couple debuts, some new debuts here for the new year. So are you ready, Sky, to begin this fantastic show?
Let me get the popcorn. Let me get the good stuff. Let me get the beer. Let's get the program. Let's get it in there.
Well, let's start with match #1. It is #1, Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler versus Brian Anthony. Also a debut here, so it's two young, well, it's two upstarts.
No. Okay, hold on 1 second.
It's #1 Nick Nemeth versus Brian Anthony, the young upstart. I can't call him young. He's got to be in his 40s now.
Dolph Ziggler's what, 43 at this point?
Yeah. So, how long do you think this goes?
5 minutes and #1 Dolph Ziggler, I guess.
It is 3 minutes and Nick Nemeth hits a hell of a super kick, but without the whole Shawn Michaels setup. Because he's not trying to be an homage, he's just setting him up and then hits him with a super kick. But it's none of that hoo-ha.
Good for Nick Nemeth.
Yes, so #1 Nick Nemeth wins the first match of 2023 in 3 minutes. And that's it. That's all. That's all we got for that so far. Then we move on to, and of course, Titus and Stryker talk a little bit, and then they go, now we're going back into the back with Tony Schiavone, who is backstage with one member of the ACPW Women's Championship #1 contenders match, Serena Deeb. And Tony Schiavone says, hello, I'm Tony Schiavone, backstage announcer for ACPW, and I am here with one half of the ACPW Women's Championship #1 contenders match, Serena Deeb. And Serena, you have had quite a lot of animosity between yourself and Alexa Bliss and Camille, and tonight there is more added to on the line as you now go and vow for a #1 contender shot at Championship Gold. What does it mean to you here tonight? And also, with your friendship with Mickey, how is she doing? And Serena says, well, I hate to disappoint the people in Richmond, but Mickey was not able to make it tonight as she and her husband are off doing other various affairs that have required their attention here in Richmond. They've met friends, and Jim Ross was kind enough to give them the night off to spend with their families and whatnot. So, unfortunately, Mickey isn't here. But that doesn't mean that I'm not wrestling in her honor, because Alexa Bliss and Camille, you've done enough to damage a woman who has given everything to this business in a similar way to I have, and I thought that after Winter Warfare I was going to be done with you, but no, now I have to go through you again. this time to get ACPW Women's Championship gold. And I promise you, Tony, and I promise you, Alexa, and I promise you, Camille, I'm going to win that belt, and I'm going to beat Alexa Bliss tonight, because 5 feet of fury isn't going to do a whole hell of a lot when all 5 feet of that fury is yelling and screaming and moaning and whining and tapping out to the Serenity Lock, peacefully put to sleep. Number 1 contender, you're looking at her. And Tony goes, well, Serena Deeb, that was a promo that you certainly cut. Let's go back to
what the fucking hell?
No, I wouldn't have Tony say that. You know
what the worst part is that I couldn't see 2023 Tony Schiavone.
I know.
That.
Well, you certainly cut that promo. Now let's get back to Matt Striker and Titus. No, he says, well, Serena looks determined, and of course we're going to hear from Alexa Bliss later on before the match tonight. So clearly, one half of this contingent is certainly motivated. Let's get back to Matt and Titus.
I'm glad that you're allowing Serena Deeb to be intense, because she hasn't had many chances to be intense in her wrestling career.
Not really. And I've really wanted to give Serena Deeb the respect she deserves, because I think that she really is worthy of that respect. And that's why I've kept her not necessarily in the title picture, but I've kept her name relevant, and I've given her wins of relevance so that we could get to this point. And I really do think that this Alexa Bliss and Camille thing with Serena Deeb is still got some legs to it, but now on a larger scale.
Exactly. Like, you have to frame a feud around what happens in the company, because if you have two people who are feuding with each other and then have them match up again and again and again and again, like WWE does with nothing else happening, it's like you pair people off into their own universe and they're just there for 5 months.
Yeah, and it's not great. But
giving it the number 1 contendership offers the possibility of a different matchup coming down the line with other people involved.
That's right. And Shayna's not going to be here tonight, but she definitely will be next week. So whoever wins this is definitely going to be having some level of confrontation with the women's champion Shayna Baszler down the pike. But we got another match. Speaking of people who are involved in feuds that have gone on way too long in real life, it is Damian Priest versus Pac. How long?
Now, for the folks who don't know, Pac was traded to ACPW for one Mr. Shorty G from SWCG in a draft supplemental trade.
That's right, because I wanted to glob him with some talent that we created. And whether he uses that talent or not is up to him, but that's I just needed to shuffle some stuff around, and I really didn't have anything for Shorty G, unfortunately. So there it is. No more shooshing.
I mean, you got 3 years out of him as a kind of goofy but still funny villain mid-card heel jock.
Yeah,
that works for him.
Yeah, I mean, the Shorty G gimmick had legs. It's just that WWE, like always, just doesn't know how to handle something like that. You know, they could make half of those corny gimmicks work if they had really just put some effort into fleshing them out a little bit. You know?
Right, and the other thing too, again, is the whole thing of why the 3 of us kind of advocate for more than one company, is that we can send people away to other areas.
That's right.
So that way they can stay fresh. Because the big trade was AJ Styles and Billy Gunn. I was eager to trade AJ because he had grown stagnant.
Yeah, and just wait until you hear what I have for AJ Styles. Just wait.
Is it going to make me cringe as much as Katie Forbes?
Oh, by the end of it, there's a good chance. By the end of it, there's a good chance. Yeah, but in a different way.
As long as you keep him away from that woman, and you know who I'm talking about.
Claire Lynch?
Exactly.
No.
Claire Lynch is possible.
No, nothing like that. No, fear not.
I should have given you Claire Lynch instead of Logan Paul, David.
Well, she hasn't been around for forever, so, what are you going to do? Anyway, it is... This match goes 2 minutes, and Damian Priest wins with a choke slam. That was
good for him.
Yeah, not really that difficult. But then he's in the ring with Kevin Kelly. And Kevin Kelly, who replaced JR when JR became commissioner, Kevin Kelly goes up to Damian Priest and goes, Damian, well, I first have to say you have been in some very tight confrontations with Brock Lesnar of late. You came just short of beating him a couple of months ago, and then, of course, at Winter Warfare, you went to a draw in a long match that people didn't expect you would last that long in. And now, I've heard word, and of course, the sources, the websites, the dirt sheets have all been saying that Brock is pissed and he wants another shot at you, and Paul Heyman wants another shot at you. What are your thoughts of what Brock Lesnar has been feeling, especially after he F5'd you at the end of that match, after it had all been said and done and he got the last word? Damian Priest says, Kevin Kelly, Richmond, Virginia. All I've seen and all I've heard since I've joined ACPW is how I'm just a guy who's just a little bit smaller than the big guys. So what did I do? I stalked my prey and I hunted the beast. And the first time, I came up short. People said I didn't take it seriously, so I took it more seriously. And I drew with Brock Lesnar. And now, Brock Lesnar's saying he wants another shot at me, but the reality is, I now know he's scared. Because he wouldn't have hit me with an F5 out of nowhere after that match if he hadn't been. And I know that little walrus behind him is scared. And that means I, the hunter, have the beast right where I want him. So when we face each other again, there will be no countouts or disqualifications. I won't allow you to escape my piercing arrow anymore. Because the fact is, I will conquer the beast and the walrus that controls the beast, and they will regret the day they doubted Damian Priest. And Kevin Kelly says, well, strong words from Damian Priest. Clearly, this is not over between Damian Priest and Brock Lesnar, but we will have to wait until we hear back from Lesnar. But until that point, Matt and Titus, let's get back to you.
Remember when Damian Priest was going to be the leader of Judgment Day after Edge?
No, because they never pulled the trigger on it. Because he doesn't really, at least in WWE, he doesn't get the chance to actually talk like that.
And the few chances he did get to talk, he was good.
Yeah, well, except for the one most recently where he's just like, I'm just so mad at you, I can't even speak. But that's okay. I thought that was hilarious. So it's that was fine by me.
But he just has that voice, that presence that screams monster.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it, which is why I'm doing my damnedest to try and get some of that out in this feud with Brock. You know, and I think that there will be something more to, and again, I mean, without giving too much away, obviously at Showdown in Cincy, we are going to have that rematch. You know, and by the way, Damian Priest is not making the matches, so he said there will be no countouts and no disqualifications, but that has not been like officially set in stone yet. He said it, but it's not.
We have to wait for the general manager to make that decision.
Right, that's commissioner. That he has not made the match. That's what he's hoping for, because Brock has gotten away with either winning or being away, you know, from the time limit draw and the pin at the last second and all that jazz. He will not be able to get away if he can't get counted out or disqualified or any of that deal. So let's see. It's not set in stone yet, but that's what Priest is hoping for.
Well, let's see if he gets his wish.
We will see, but up next, we go to commercial, and then we come back, and Kevin Kelly's in the ring, and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Cult of Cornette, Jim Cornette, Bryan Danielson, FTR, and Jeff Cobb. And a notable omission, as Randy Orton is, of course, no longer a part of ACPW, at least at this moment. even if I wanted
right,
to.
because he's now on NWL property.
That's right. So the four of them, or the five of them, are in the ring, and Kevin Kelly goes, well, Jim, Winter Warfare, and Jim, keep in mind, Jim's got a neck brace on because of the Stone Cold Stunner. So he's got like one of those soft, like the Andy Kaufman neck brace on because, you know, he got his.
Right, not like the Paul Heyman.
Yeah, full cast. Yeah. So, well, instead, it's the softer cast. But in any case, Kevin Kelly goes, well, Jim, I could see you're a little worse for wear. And of course, it wasn't a great night at Winter Warfare for the Cult. And Jim kind of just takes the hand and goes, listen to me, Kevin Kelly. All of these people in Virginia, I have more brain cells than the entirety of this arena has teeth. So I'm going to keep my words short.
Boo, you suck, you suck.
I've had enough of the disrespect for the cult of Cornette. It has been 3 years since the machine, no matter who's been in charge, has been screwing over this faction. I came back to pro wrestling to change the face of it and to claim its championships. And with Jeff Cobb, I've done it. And with FTR, I've done it. And with Bryan Danielson, I've done it. And no matter what and no matter who has come into our way, we will persevere. No matter how many times my neck gets bursted into pieces and I have to have surgery to fuse it together. I don't care how long it's been since. Every time I think back to that stunner, I just think about how ACPW and you people have screwed the cult of Cornette.
Cornette sucks. Clap, 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 clap. Cornette sucks. Clap, clap.
And you know what? When FTR wins this tournament and we reclaim that, and before Jim can finish, Dax walks up and Cash walks up and Jim looks over. He's like, "What? What do you want?" And Dax, you know, kind of pushes Jim aside a little bit, and Kevin gets in between them. So now Corny's on one side and FTR's on the other, and Dax says, "Look, Jim, we've been with you from the start. You helped us win the ACPW Tag Team Championships. We can't thank you enough for that. You endorsed us at a time when everybody thought that we were not worth our salt, and we can't thank you enough for that. We have made ourselves the tag team to beat in ACPW no matter what, and I have to thank you for that. But I can't deny that for the past 2 years, Jim, the only thing that you've been leading us to is failure. Orton comes along, we blame him, he takes care of Titus, now he's on commentary, that's all well and good. And what happened to our championships? We lose, and then lose, and then lose, whether it's to beer money, and then it's to the Varsity Blondes, to kids. We were losing to kids because you couldn't keep your own ancient ass straight. And we know what we're worth now, Jim. We know what FTR is worth. And now look at it. Jeff Cobb lost to Walter 3 times. Got you stunned. Hell, Danielson's the only one who won, and the only reason he did is because you weren't with him. You cost us in our match. You cost Cobb in his match. Let's just face the facts, Jim. You don't have it anymore.
Ooh.
And for the betterment of our careers, we're done. And they walk away. And they actually leave the ring. And Jim goes, are you guys kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? I'm the one who brought you into this company. I made you. I made FTR. Don't you walk away from me, you sons. And then, of course, the crowd's, of course, cheering like hell for FTR because they finally took their stand and left. And Jim is freaking out and he's yelling out and finally goes, all right, yeah, okay, fine, go. Because I know when people have expired past their due, and you're clearly past your due, go out behind the barn and shoot yourselves, because that's what you just did. And anyone else? How about you, Danielson? What do you have to say, huh? This is your fault. He just playing that this is on you. I bring you in and now this place is gone. What do you have to say for yourself? Huh? And Danielson looks at him and looks at Cobb, and he walks away. And Cobb then moves and Jim looks at Cobb, and Cobb kind of looks forward and steps forward instead and starts staring down Danielson. And Jim Cornette is just like, he's actually speechless. And Kevin Kelly goes, well, FTR and Bryan Danielson have all just walked out on Jim Cornette. Jim, what do you have to say about these developments? And the microphone goes to Cornette, and Jim's like, and he just kind of walks away, and he and Cobb kind of just get together, but Jim's kind of shell-shocked almost, and the crowd's going, nah, 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 nah. You know, they're doing all of that. And so,
good.
Yeah, all that, and Jim and Cobb is kind of there, you know, kind of comforting Jim, but Jim is just speechless. He's just stunned because he's just lost 3 out of 4 of the members of the Cult of Cornette. And Kevin Kelly goes, well, I can't explain what just happened, but I'm pretty sure that the complexion of the Cult of Cornette and ACPW has just changed, and we've still got a lot of show ahead of us tonight. Let's get back to Matt and Titus.
What a development. My only question, though, and this is from me, do you think it could have dragged it out for another week or so?
When you find out what I'm doing later, I would say no.
Fair enough.
This was the time that it had to happen, and trust me, there's more coming that's going to make sure that this all goes down. But that's it. But Jeff Cobb did not leave Jim. He's the only one who stayed. Is there anything worth saying about that?
I mean, if you take Jim Cornette away from Jeff Cobb, you just have a silent monster. You need to have a mouthpiece with him. And I don't know which manager you would pick up right now and have it be the manager of Jeff Cobb.
Yeah, and he really needs one, because I still have no evidence to suggest that he can talk in any respect.
Right. You always need like a weasel to go along with a monster just to make sure it works. The only thing you could be kind of criticized for is that Jim Cornette is getting up there in age and has effectively retired from management.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm not taking that into consideration. That's all I'm going to say.
But it's just so fun to cut Jim Cornette promos.
I know.
Right?
I know. It is. But, you know. But in any case, so that was where that went. So the Cult of Cornette seems to be in shambles more than it ever has been before. Moving on, we have the next matchup. It is Eli Drake versus Dean Ambrose. How long does this match go?
I forgot you had Dean Ambrose, and I hate this. I'm going to say that you have Dean Ambrose within 8 minutes?
This goes 6 minutes.
Okay.
And the match is back and forth. Ambrose is doing, headlocks and wrist lock. He's actually wrestling because that's what he's trying to prove. But the end of the match, this isn't really anything huge. Ambrose is making a comeback. He goes for that, that slingshot clothesline, which Eli Drake ducks. And Eli Drake gets him with a backslide, and Eli gets his feet on the ropes. 1, 2, 3. Eli wins with a fuck finish.
I like this so much better. I mean, I've already made my feelings known about Mr. Ambrose for a while now, so.
Correct. But this is also kind of just establishing Eli Drake. I'm kind of just casually turning him heel. I'm not making a huge deal out of it. But
I mean, you shouldn't really, because he was so undefined as a baby face. Like, you can make the heel turn pretty easy, and no one's going to really care that much.
Yeah, he just starts doing heel stuff. I don't, he was good for my mid-card as a babyface, but I don't think he was so crucial yet that I, couldn't do something like this just on the fly. And, not everybody needs a grandiose turn. You know what I mean? Like, some people they can just do it, and it's not a huge deal. So there's that. Up next, we have Kevin Kelly in the ring with Dr. Britt Baker and the Posse, which is Reba and Jamie Hayter. And Kevin Kelly goes, well, Britt, this has been quite an interesting couple of weeks for you. You had quite a feud with Shayna Baszler and came up just a little bit short in the first ever women's steel cage match. And what are your thoughts, especially with the number one contenders match later on tonight, and what it means for you and the posse? And Dr. Britt Baker goes, listen, no one else is worthy of a number one contendership. I should be champion. And how JR gets off not putting me, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, into that title picture is a travesty of justice. And you know, I heard Jim Cornette assault the teeth of everyone here in Richmond, and once again, I have taken the liberty of putting my card underneath your seat. Give me a call, I'll take your money, I'll fix up your teeth, and then I'll educate you about the best women's wrestler in this company, me. Because no one...
Ooh, you suck.
No one is worthy of what I am capable of. And then as she's saying this, there's a huge cheer, and everyone's looking down the ramp, and Britt goes, what could be possibly more important than me? And she looks over, and there is Mercedes Moné walking down the ramp.
Money.
Yes,
money,
whatever.
Money.
Big,
No, I'm kidding.
big money. Big money. Big money salvia. By the way, shout out to Internet Comment Etiquette with Eric. Please like me. I need attention. Anyway, anyway, when Mercedes Money gets in the ring, and the crowd is going crazy, you know, money, you know, all that. And Kevin Kelly goes, well, Mercedes Money, I can't believe that she's here. This is a woman who has had quite a historical track record of professional wrestling and groundbreaking women's matches herself, now coming here to ACPW. Mercedes, what is the occasion? Hi, Dr. Britt Baker. See, I know who you are, and the fact is, the only person who isn't worthy is you. Because the fact is, I'm going to prove that I'm going to do what you couldn't in half the time. That's win the ACPW Women's Championship, because everything I do is money, honey. And she boops Dr. Britt on the nose or some shit. And she'll, goes to pose like Sasha Banks would do, and she's like, hey, I'm Sasha Banks. And Dr. Britt and Dr. Britt and Kevin Kelly and Britt's like, and the posse start to surround Mercedes, and Dr. Britt goes, girl, you better watch your mouth, because let's face facts. I've been doing you better than you, and it took me a third of the time to do it. So go ahead and run your mouth, and you keep doing it, and I'll shut it for you. And as soon as she says that, Mercedes Moné just like pimp slaps her right square in the jaw, Dr. Britt's jaw. And then Jamie and Rhea go and start clambering down, but Mercedes kind of makes a comeback. Both Jamie and Rhea take bumps, and Britt kind of gets out of dodge as Mercedes does more posing. Hey, I'm Sasha Banks. And her posing and Dr. Britt kind of hitting the skids is how this segment ends, and we go to commercial where Mercedes has debuted, and she has her target set on Dr. Britt Baker.
A lot to unpack there. I'm good with this interpretation of Mercedes Moné because it's not that different from what they're doing with her now in New Japan. Like, I'm cool with it.
Well, thank you.
This is an intriguing feud for me because in many ways, Dr. Britt Baker is kind of a dentist version of Sasha
Banks. Yeah. And I was like, well, we might as well just get the elephant in the room out of the room immediately.
Just take it and shove it down the steps.
That's right. We might as well just get that right out of the way from the off. So that's where that's headed. And now Mercedes is in. We've made her seem like a deal of some sort because Dr. Britt was just the number one contender. So that gives her at least a little bit of status or clout in this women's division where Mercedes debuting on her actually is important.
It sets up for something interesting in the future.
Yes. So, moving right along as we get to that, and we now have the first quarterfinal tag match. It is Bobby Roode and Andrade with Zelina Vega versus the Varsity Blondes. Who wins and how long?
Team Vega, 9 minutes.
So this is a 10-minute match.
Darn it!
And
well, I still win by Price is Right rules.
That's right. Well, that would be if you got the victor correct. And I don't really have a majorly complicated finish for this. So presuming that Zelina gets involved and shut down in some respect, either getting knocked off by, some miscommunication with Andrade. But basically the bottom line is Brian Pillman Jr. is going to hit the missile dropkick on Andrade after some sort of healing failure for the pin, and the Varsity Blondes are going to win it.
Really?
Yes. I can't have Brian Pillman Jr. in the middle of a Stone Cold Steve Austin feud and then have him lose in his first tag match back with Garrison.
But it's interesting that you had Roode and Andrade lose since they were the newly constructed team.
Well, Andrade is going to take the pin here, and that doesn't... Don't worry. Don't worry. That's why we have more episodes.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Yes, so they're taking a shocking loss here to start as the Varsity Blondes, even though they've had a pretty good win record, still feel like underdogs and get the quote-unquote underdog win. Next up, we have Tony Schiavone in the back with the second half of the number one contenders match for the Women's Championship. Alexa Bliss with Camille in the back with Tony Schiavone. And we go, hello, I am Tony Schiavone, backstage announcer for ACPW, and I am here with Alexa Bliss and Camille. The second half and the bodyguard, associate, partner, anyway. Alexa Bliss and Camille are here, and Alexa, your match is next. What are you going to be your strategies and keys to victory here in Richmond, Virginia for the number one contendership? And Alexa Bliss goes, all I need is insurance. And that's going to be the key to the night, Tony. In fact, if you ever considered selling insurance, because with the way that you're repeating your lines and re-emphasizing things, I think you could really drill the point home that people need coverage. Because the coverage they're going to get is they better bet their asses that I am going to be the ACPW Women's Champion. With Camille by my side, we have taken over this division by storm, and no amount of fossils, no amount of divas in Serena Deeb and Mickie James are going to stop 5 Feet of Fury. And Mickie James isn't here in Richmond because she's ashamed of her hometown. She's ashamed of this place.
Hardcore country, hardcore country.
And because she's ashamed, she didn't have the balls. Well, she doesn't anyway, but she doesn't have the guts to come out here and face us, especially when she put her nose where it didn't belong again when it came to Alexa Bliss and Camille. But tonight, Serena Deeb, we're putting you down once and for all. And Camille is tired of Mickie James. And I promise you that it is her vow that she will end Mickey's career properly, assuming that Mickie has any guts to face her again. But until then, watch and learn, bitch. I'm about to become famous. And they walk out, and Tony Schiavone goes, well, that was a promo that certainly happened. Let's get back to Matt Striker and Titus.
You better not do that. You better... For the love of God, Tony Schiavone. Again, the worst part is that I could see him say this.
I know. Well, it doesn't get any better than this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back to Matt Striker and Titus. Okay. What a great time I'm having. Thank you, Tony.
I can't wait until Memorial Day weekend.
I know. It's always Memorial Day weekend, after all. That's actually when we're having a showdown in Cincy. So, anyway, so there's that, and now let's get on with the match, shall we? Anything about Alexa Bliss's promo here and Camille kind of saying that she wants another match with Mickie James?
I'm cool with it. At the end of the day, like, Alexa Bliss and Camille work as a couple, as a group. I was about to say couple, and I'm like, wait, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't assume.
Well, yeah, we can neither confirm nor deny the association in that respect with either of them. But as a pairing, as the Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash female version, I've never really liked the idea that Raquel Gonzalez Rodriguez is the female Kevin Nash, because it really is Camille, even though I think Camille moves around a lot better than Kevin Nash. She's definitely, with her stoicism, a better just stare and look imposing type.
Well, you know the reason why Raquel Rodriguez was said to be a female Kevin Nash?
Because she was super green and they pushed her like hell?
Yep, and they teamed her up with Dakota Kai, who was a small person who did super kicks a lot.
Well, there you go. And while Alexa Bliss isn't doing super kicks, she is in a match with Serena Deeb for the #1 contendership for the Women's Championship. And that match is right now. How long? Who wins?
I can't pick against my future wifey, Alexa Bliss, right? Even though she's already married.
Yeah, well, maybe you could replace her pet pig as her pet. And there you go.
I am so offended.
Oh, I'm sorry. It can't be a pig, right? I'm sorry. You're Jewish. My bad.
That you would A, call me a pig, B, that you would associate me with that. I'm going home.
It's an unclean animal. I'm sorry.
Bye.
I'm sorry.
I'll see you all next week or whatever later. Anyways.
I'm sorry. I'll release an apology video later this week, Sky.
Anyways.
So your pick is Alexa Bliss.
12 minutes.
All right. Well, this is an 8-minute match. And what happens in this match is pretty much nothing huge as far as the match, but Alexa Bliss gets the heel with Camille interference, blah, blah, blah. Serena Deeb makes a comeback. Serena ends up getting Alexa Bliss in the Serenity Lock, and as Alexa Bliss is crawling towards the rope, she actually grabs Camille's hands, and Camille is holding Alexa Bliss, though, telling her, no, don't tap, and the referee sees this and now goes after Camille and says, hey, you can't do that, and, starts to break that up, and Serena now obviously detects that, that the referee is now occupied with Camille, so Serena baseball slides Camille, and she gets knocked down, and as Serena gets up, Alexa Bliss, who is now up and is somewhat recovered, kind of pushes Serena into the ropes, does that double flip back, and then basically gets up on her in a roll-up position, covers 2, pulls the tights 3, Alexa Bliss wins.
As she does, bow down to 5 feet of fury.
And I wanted this to be another fuck finish because I don't want Alexa Bliss to pin Serena flat, and I also didn't want Camille to do anything like give her an object or anything like that because I've already done it with these two. And that is kind of the challenging part of having Alexa Bliss and Camille, is coming up with all these different ways to cheat.
But the creative challenge of this is coming up with something that has never either been done before or been done to death recently that you can use.
Yeah. And while I don't love a roll-up pin, this is still going to work for what I'm aiming for anyway, so I'm not that upset. And also, my plan is that Serena Deeb and Camille are going to have, between now and Showdown in Cincy, Serena Deeb's not just going to be out of this equation after this. I'm still kind of interweaving a little bit when it comes to the women, just so, like I said, I wanted the women's division to be quality over quantity, but we're getting a little bit of both here on this show. All right.
Which is the other thing too, is that you have to balance your show and not just blow your wad in the first hour and then the next hour is bleh.
And to be fair, to give them this matchup this late on the show, I mean, there's only one match left. and 2 segments left, I wanted to make this number 1 contenders match also a big deal because there's only 3 titles in ACPW, and a number 1 contenders match for one should have the gravitas it deserves in the later half of the card.
Exactly.
So, next up, after we finish with that, we come back from break, and it is FTR versus Wrestling's Finest.
Ooh.
Who wins? How long?
This is tough because based on what happened earlier in the night, this could go a lot of different ways. But I feel like there's going to be a red herring in here. Wrestling's Finest in 14 minutes.
All right, well, this goes 15 minutes.
I still win by price.
You've been prices writing all of this. You've been getting very close. Here's the finish. FTR has made the comeback here, and then there's a little kind of back and forth, and basically Roddy is the legal man, but Bobby is gotten the advantage and beaten or taken Dax down on the outside, and there's a little hoo-ha going as far as Cash is incapacitated. Roddy's a little incapacitated.
Hello, Porky Pig. How you doing?
That's right. Yes, that's right. He's Porky Pig is incapacitated, and Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode. God damn it. Bobby Fish. Bobby Roode already lost.
Bobby named him Roberts.
Babby. Fucking hell. I'm having a stroke. Bobby Fish is debating getting a steel chair when he looks to his right and he sees a cameraman that looks shockingly similar to the way Adam Cole screwed them in the title match against the Briscoes. And he looks and he sees the cameraman with the shield on his face, and Bobby's getting a little paranoid. And so he finally goes over to the camera guy and basically pulls off the mask and shoves him down, and it's not Adam Cole.
Aww.
It's not Adam Cole, so he shoves him aside, but the second he shoves him aside, that was enough for Dax to get up and give him a huge clothesline. And as Roddy is getting up, Cash is able to counter. Dax rolls back in. They hit the Goodnight Express. Cover on Roddy. 1, 2, 3. FTR win.
Shocking.
And I'll give a spoiler. We don't see Jim Cornette or Jeff Cobb for the rest of the night.
And you shouldn't, because you would be doing a lot of overload if you had Jim Cornette and Jeff Cobb back on the show.
Yeah, I think right now we need to sell the fact that they're reeling from what just happened. And so that's how that goes. And what the whole thing is, I still do want Adam Cole. He's still on his redemption tour, but I also want it to make it feel like Wrestling's Finest are kind of seeing ghosts regarding him, especially because O'Reilly isn't there and Roddy's already lost to him.
Right, and the thing is that Adam Cole, you get in, he plays the mind game, and he got you hooked.
Yeah, and Adam Cole, we're not even going to see Adam Cole on this show. That was just Bobby being paranoid, which was the best part. But it also reminds you of Adam Cole because that was like the same thing. So he's still remaining in the minds of the people.
In the people. People power.
That's right. And so, but FTR, without Jim Cornette, move on. So, now they are going to face another team when we get to that next week. But that was it for that. And now we have our main event segment. Mark Briscoe in the ring with Kevin Kelly. And before they can't even get started because the crowd is chanting for Jay and chanting for Mark and chanting for the Briscoes. And it's, they really take their time with it because the crowd is hot. The crowd is hot because this is a tribute for one of ACPW's best wrestlers, and it's you can tell it's very heartfelt, very emotional. And Kevin Kelly goes, Mark, I'm going to let you just get out what you need to get out here. It's not that I don't want to interview you, but I don't want to get in the way of your moment. So, Mark, the floor is yours. And Kevin Kelly gives Mark the microphone. And this is one of those few instances where I'm going to take the announcer out of the equation. And Mark goes, all my life, I've only ever really cared about two things. I've cared about wrestling, and I've cared about my family. And my family, we have a chicken farm. And on that chicken farm, we do all sorts of things, and we all cry suey when the hogs have us. And all we've done is be two old country boys who wrestled with a country dream. And by God, did we achieve that dream. We became the ACPW Tag Team Champions just before he went. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about what losing Jay means to me in my wrestling career, because I couldn't have done any of this without Jay. I couldn't be Mark Briscoe without Jay. I could never be Mark Briscoe without Jay. And so tonight, I had to debate and decide whether I cared more about wrestling or the thing that got me into wrestling, which is family. And tonight I choose family. And so I want to let everyone know here tonight that I'm retiring from the ring. And the crowd is going, "Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark." And Mark goes, and I want you to know that I thank all of you for the unbelievable support that y'all have given me, that y'all have given my family, that y'all have given Jay's family. We couldn't be who we are without all of you believing in a couple of country hicks who like to kick ass. And so thank you, and thank everyone. God bless you. And he's going, kind of waving goodbye to the fans, and all of a sudden the fans start booing. Because coming down the ramp, fake crying, is ACPW champion MJF. And MJF rolls into the ring, and Kevin Kelly now comes back in, and Mark is just kind of looking at MJF, and Kevin Kelly has come back in because now that there's somebody else is there, we got to give the announcer back the microphone. Kevin Kelly says, "Well, Max, I understand you're the champion and you wanted to talk, but this is not the time for this. And Max, kind of ushers the microphone to him and goes, "No, you misunderstand me. This is a huge misunderstanding. You misunderstand me. I'm here to support you. I'm here to support you, Mark. I really am, because I truly believe I support your retirement. I support this decision for two reasons. The first is I'm glad that you're able to go back and be at home with your family, because after all of the talent in your family died with Jay. But it's more than that, because I am sick of looking at your country bumpkin toothless ass, and the world will be better when you disappear from public view. Because you're filthy, you're disgusting, and people don't want to see you. They want to see a superstar. They want to see a champion. They are so stupid that I hoodwinked them for a year and a half. Oh, I'm such a good guy. Oh, I'm fighting for me. And hook, line, and sinker, they bought it. And every time that they tried to piece it together that I was a good guy, they lost another tooth, just like you. And now I have to look at a piece of trash like you who didn't know that he didn't belong. So do yourself a favor, get started on that retirement, because the people here came to see the world's champion. They came to see MJF. And Mark looks at MJF, and the crowd is deafeningly raining down boos. Deafeningly raining down boos. And Mark Briscoe, Kevin Kelly moves over to Mark and goes, hey, you're tired of seeing me, right? You're tired of seeing old Mark Briscoe and the Toothless Country Bumpkin. Congratulations, City Slicker. You chose the lowest hanging fruit. And the fact is, yeah, these people may not want to see me, but I would rather be these people because I am these people. And you will never have that connection with the people. And you think you're so better than me? And you think that you're such a bigger and better wrestler than I am? Watch when I take that belt away from you. You said I was going to retire. You want me to retire? You just made sure that this guy's got enough left in the tank to whip your sorry North ass. Because the fact is, I'm going to do it for these people. I'm going to do it for Jay. And hell, I'm going to do it for me. And he lays MJF with a huge right hand. And MJF, and they get into a little scrap, and of course Mark just keeps wailing on him harder and harder, and MJF kind of ducks out of the ring as officials start to separate it, and the crowd is roaring, chanting for Jay, and now really chanting for Mark as Mark stands up, and he's getting the adulation of the crowd as now Mark Briscoe has decided that instead of retiring, he's going after MJF, and that, with MJF screaming frustration and profanity and holding up his belt as Mark gets absolute love from the crowd, is how we end this show. So we're now at your thoughts on the main event segment.
Well, this is the only way you could go. The only way you could do anything with Briscoe, because this is what you had to do, as much as it sucks. This sucks in general. This whole situation sucks. But the right thing happened here, and it's that you are going into this angle. If this happened in real life, this is what you would do. Tony Khan, I mean, come on.
And MJ, can you imagine the amount of heat that MJF would get for some of the things that he said? I'm sure you were booing with the internet, with John Laurinaitis capping you off. I'm sure you were booing as the people were raining down boos.
You know for a fact that he would have gotten more police calls than what he did with that Long Island promo.
Yeah. Well, and so now we're going to do, so the plan is, there is going to be a number one contenders match for the ACPW Heavyweight Championship next week that Mark Briscoe will be in. So this isn't, again, similarly to what went on earlier with Damian Priest. Nothing has been signed. Mark Briscoe has now just staked the claim and taken a good shot at MJF. And this was something where I knew that it would have to I'd have to have somebody who can get a tremendous amount of heat. That's MJF. I'd have to do it at a time when people would want to hear it the least. That's during the Mark Briscoe's retiring tribute. It all had to kind of come together into this segment. And really going from the double turn with Cody Rhodes right into this level of heat is exactly what MJF needs to kickstart this world title run.
Right. It needs to be the right challenger. It needs to be the right person to get the heat. And this is definitely going to be that.
And so lots of things going on this show. Your thoughts of episode 30.
You start strong, man. You start strong.
Thank you very much. And there's lots of moving parts, but that's what monthly episodes are all about. And now it's time to get NWL's first dip into the pie. Skyler, the floor is yours.
The floor is mine, and welcome to the National Wrestling League Revolution.
All right. Better than AEW's, theoretically.
We'll find out next week.
That's right.
And by the way, I will say we are going in the colors of my new favorite hockey team, the Boston Bruins. We're going yellow and black.
All right. That's for all of you kiddos who are watching the slides out there on the YouTubes.
Yep. Now, because of a lot of roster changes and things that have gone on, the rankings have been shuffled up a bit. So let's go ahead and recap what this company is all about. And that is a top 10 ranking system. Fight your way to the champion.
That's right. So who we got?
So our number one contender is Bobby Lashley, going up against Alexander Hammerstone. And then we have Drew McIntyre, number 2, Jacob Fatu, number 3, Kevin Owens, number 4, Sami Zayn, number 5, Seth Rollins, number 6, Austin Theory, number 7, Powerhouse Will House, number 8, Solo Sikoa at 9, and Kazuchika Okada at 10.
Wow, getting an instant ad is Okada. I like that. It is only a 10, but still.
I mean, it's only a 10, so he's got a long way to go to the world title.
That's right. That's right. He isn't going to be booked like New Japan John Cena in NWL, I'm guessing.
I mean, we'll see what happens. Anyways.
Fair enough.
We're gonna begin the show backstage in the office of our general manager, Kurt Angle.
Oh, right. Different guy. Never mind.
You suck, you suck, you suck, you suck. Anyways, Kurt Angle is here in his office and welcomes everyone to the show. He's excited for another year of the National Wrestling League and bringing forward the best wrestling entertainment that there is. And he goes down tonight's card. The main event is our world champion, Alexander Hammerstone, defending against Bobby Lashley.
All right.
A co-main event, triple threat match for the women's championship. Rhea Ripley, the defending champion, versus Bianca Belair versus Toni Storm.
Okay.
We have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn going head-to-head in an NWL rankings match.
All right. We haven't had a rankings match in a hot minute.
Yep. The National Wrestling League World Tag Team Championships. DIY versus the NXT generation, Dominik Guerrero and Rex Steiner with Austin Theory at ringside.
Hey, I have a question for you, and I don't know whether you've done it before, so maybe you can recall me. Has Dominik ever done a lasso from El Paso?
No.
He should. He's got the legs. He's got, like, the lengthy legs for it.
That Ray doesn't have.
That Ray doesn't have, but he does. I mean, it would work. I thought about that the other day when I saw him at Elimination Chamber. I'm like, he could probably use that very well. But anyway, continue.
A singles match, Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair.
Okay.
And then the opening match, a 6-man street fight, the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus the Bloodline, the Usos, and Solo Sikoa.
Okay.
So I can't wait to get this show started, and as soon as he says that, you hear this explosion, right?
Okay.
And Kurt Angle's like, Jesus, what was that? He goes out of his office, the cameraman follows him, and he's going down the hallways looking for the explosion. He hears it again, it's even louder, and then he goes down the hallway, and then he sees Shotzi Blackheart driving a tank. And this is not her toy tank. This is like a semi-small tank. And Kurt's like, what the hell are you doing? And Shotzi's just like, I'm getting ready for my match later. You are not getting ready for a match later. In fact, you are getting this goddamn tank out of this goddamn arena. And Shotzi's like, come on, Kurt, I paid for this thing. This is $25,000. Kurt's like, I don't care how much money it is. Get it out of here or you're fired. And if you ever use a tank again, I will fire your ass. And then Shotzi Blackheart, like a sad face, just drops down like, okay, and then starts driving the tank away.
And meanwhile, halfway across the world, Marco Stunt jumped out of bed in a cold sweat, remembering all the times that Kurt Angle did this to him. Yeah. Oh, man. There is nothing quite like an angry NWL Kurt Angle. And
this is what happens when you guys give me a horrendous gimmick. I have him pair up with Kurt Angle as a comedy sketch. I love the idea that Shotzi's just shooting a tank in the middle of the arena and interrupts Kurt. Like, what the fuck? That's so good. That's so funny. Oh, man. Good stuff. I mean, she's trying to hype herself up for a match. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly healthier than bashing your head against the desk cabinet in Saudi Arabia, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Anyways, we are going to have one pre-show match. The after match is Shotzi Blackheart versus a debuting Roxanne Perez.
I'm guessing Roxanne Perez is going to win this because why would you have Shotzi win after getting lambasted by Kurt?
Why would I indeed? Yeah, Roxanne Perez wins in 5 minutes. It's not a big thing.
Hey, you know what? It is to start Roxanne. Every small win adds up when you're trying to get somebody over. So that's what you're doing here.
Right. And not only am I going to give her the win, I'm going to let her do a promo real quickly. So Renee Young comes to the ring after Roxanne Perez wins, and she congratulates Roxanne Perez on her debut victory, and asks what it feels like to be a National Wrestling wrestler. And Roxanne Perez, well, I don't know about you, Renee, but it's always been my dream to be a professional wrestler. And I know that I will do everything in my power to make that dream come true. But Renee says, well, you say it's been your dream, but it's been the dream of so many other women and men to become professional wrestlers. So what makes you stand out from the group? And Roxanne's like, I'm glad you asked that, Renee. You know, I'm nicknamed the Prodigy because when I learn something, I learn it faster than everybody else. I apply myself. I work hard on being who I am. I work to be the best. I didn't get here because of handouts. I got here because of my passion, my drive, and my own ability. And I will show everybody what it means to be the Prodigy. I will show that I am the best women's wrestler on this planet in time. And when I become the champion and I become the main event, well, you're all going to understand where this Prodigy comes from.
And that's a Prodigy guarantee.
No. God, no. I am not doing that.
Oh, I'm just messing with you, Scott. Well, he's on SWCG, so you can recycle the content now.
If I really wanted to.
I'm not saying you should, but that's a Prodigy guarantee. Yeah, that's
right.
That's the Vince McMahon Roxanne Perez gimmick. Prodigy. And she wears all Prada. Yeah, it'd be perfect.
No, God, no.
Yeah, and she'll do what Lacey Evans used to do, where she just walks out in Prada and just walks back up the ramp for like 20 consecutive weeks.
I forgot she had that gimmick.
Remember when Lacey Evans, all she did was dress up as a Southern Belle, walk to the ring, and then walk back for like half a year.
You better not be like, I swear to God, you better not be jinxing Roxanne Perez.
Oh man, well no, she's going places. That's a Prodigy guarantee. So,
boo.
Anyway. Let's start the show, now, shall we?
Yep. Now, Sean, there is a segment of the show that requires a little bit of music.
Is there now?
Yes, and I want to check and make sure that you have it on the ready.
I have it ready. I had it ready when we started.
Well, here's the thing. The Bloodline make their entrance. It's Solo Sikoa and the Usos. But where's a man who has some music that needs to be played? And you want to know what that man wants?
What's that?
His music to be played right now. Start his music. Yo! Listen! Yo! Listen! Acclaimed about to go off on the Bloodline. We're going to put you out there on Lifeline. Oh, wait. Damn it. Cut the music.
Is this where they get, that's where they get hit from behind? No.
Max Caster and Anthony Bowles are out there like, Anthony, something's not right. We're missing something. I don't know what it is. We're missing something. And then here comes Billy Gunn. And of course, the crowd cheers. Yay!
Yay! Billy Gunn, he's an ass man. ...
And then Max Caster's like, oh yeah, that's right. I need you to scissor me, daddy ass. The daddy ass scissors him. And Max Caster's like, all right, that's it. Replay my music.
Yo, listen. Yo, listen. Acclaim about to go off on the bloodline. We're gonna put you 3 on Lifeline. Usos, what the hell are you doing here? Don't you have to be in court for all of the beers? And who invited this Umaga ripoff named Solo? Bro, would be better if it was Godfather's hoe. You know, it's getting pretty oozy, but guess what? I'm still getting more pussy.
All right. Thanks, Max.
And then hold on, keep the music going though. Keep the music going.
It's going. It's going. Kevin Dunn is falling asleep on the button.
Max Bowens grabs Anthony Bowens grabs the microphone. Los Angeles! The Acclaimed have arrived! Sesame daddy ass! Yeah! Alright, they're in the ring now.
And everyone who has not watched any of AEW is very confused why Billy Gunn likes these individuals, but they like Billy Gunn, they like the Acclaim, so alright, fine. Let's see it.
But you missed something, Sean. Where is the show being held?
Los Angeles. Oh no, I got that you did it in Los Angeles.
Alright, just want to make sure that people are aware of that when I begin this show.
That's right. Oh no. Oh no. That scares me though.
So this is the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn versus the Usos and Solo Sikoa in a 6-man street fight. It is the typical street fight stuff, so you know how there's weapons and chairs and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna recap because of the street fight. The finish is that, and also this is Tornado Street Fight, so these guys can do whatever basically. And the finish for this match is that the Usos have Billy Gunn down. They have Anthony Bowens on the outside down, and Max Caster's in the middle of the ring. Jey Uso is going up to the top for a splash. As he goes for it, a man from the outside of the ring, basically from the crowd, runs into the ring, and right as Jay is about to splash, Max Caster spears him out of mid-air.
Oh?
And the man takes off his hoodie, and it's Roman Reigns.
Looks like it's a revenge tour.
Jimmy Uso gets into the ring. Roman Reigns spear to Jimmy Uso. Solo Sikoa gets into the ring. Superman punch. Roman Reigns grabs Max Caster's limp body, puts it on top of Jey Uso. Cover. 1, 2, 3. And the Acclaimed defeat the Bloodline, ending this feud that's been going on for 4 months, basically.
And Roman is clearly going to make the Bloodline that let him down pay, which at least that's how it feels like. That's initially how it was. It's kind of shocking to see Roman Reigns in segment 1 on the night, but it would definitely get a reaction. I don't know if I love the fact that this was a street fight, a 6-man street fight to start off the show, as opposed to just a regular 6-man, and then he could have come and done this afterwards. But still, I mean, you still get the same point across, and you understand where you're headed.
Well, that's not it. Jacob Fatu is running down towards the ring, and he is running for a man his size to go after Roman Reigns, and Roman just kind of skirts out of the ring and hops back over the rail.
He didn't want to have anything to do with the guy that can actually match his size.
Nope. I debated this. I really debated whether or not to put this on the show at the start. But given the other matches that I have, this had to start the show.
Yeah, where else were you going to put it given the circumstances? I understand that. I think what you end up with is solid. You know, me, Sky. You know me in gimmick matches. So that's a personal bias. You know, this would definitely be a hot start for Los Angeles crowd. And it's Los Angeles, so you know.
Right, I easily could have done just a regular 6-man tag, but I'm like, these guys have been feuding with each other for a long time now, at least since November of last year. No, they started feuding October of last year.
Roughly. Yeah.
Roughly. So it's one of those things where, like, I could stretch this if I really wanted to, but I have other things that I'm planning for the Bloodline.
That involves Roman Reigns, obviously.
Sure, yeah. So, okay. I'm all for it. I mean, it all worked. That's what matters.
Yep. That's what matters. Now, of course, though, we get a video package, basically, of the Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair feud. And this video package goes into why did the horsewomen fall apart? Why did it fall apart? So Becky's in an interview chair, and she says, it's all because of her. No, not Sasha Banks. Not even Bayley. It's always been about Charlotte. Everything has been about Charlotte. Charlotte has been the top woman for so long. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of that stupid blonde face. I just want to punch it every time I see it. Well, I'm not going to wait for my chance no longer. I'm going to take it. Bayley, your time is coming soon enough. I'm going after you. But I need to take down this blonde boulder once and for all. And then the Charlotte portion of this package is like, everybody's jealous of the queen, and I don't blame them. I mean, Sasha Banks, she had to go all the way to the Atlantic coast just to be a queen of a bunch of trailer parks. I feel bad for her.
I mean, we did go to Richmond, so...
But she wants to be the queen of a trailer park in New Jersey. Let her. Now, as far as Bayley goes and her damage control, honey, the only damage that needs to be controlled is what I'm going to do to your face. But I need to settle something now before I do anything else. Becky, you've always been that little eager girl, smiley, happy, and then you became a man. You said that you were the toughest person in wrestling, man or woman. You may be the man, but understand that I became the queen. I am women's wrestling. Becky, what are you going to do when you go up against me? The same as everybody else. Tap out.
All right. We got ourselves a match.
So what do you think of the video package?
Gives them both something, a little promo to back them up with. They both have their reasons for what went down, but it's very easy to see that they both have vendettas against every part of the horsewomen regardless. They're not able to get theirs on Sasha, but the fact that everyone's still around and they're now probably going to be busy on destroying each other now that they built each other up and, surprise, surprise, they couldn't trust each other after a while.
Right. Also, I wonder why I just took a random pot shot against New Jersey.
Does it have something to do with the team that you used to root for in hockey?
Yes.
Well, there you go, kids.
Fuck the New Jersey Devils.
There you go. Well, they're devils. They're not great people. Except that Brodeur. I like that Brodeur guy. He was a good guy. Hell of a goal.
He's retired now, so fuck him too.
It's true. Well, the fact that he's retired.
Whatever. Anyways, it's Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. This is going to be a 15-minute match. Who wins?
As much as I would like to see Becky win this, it's really hard not to say Charlotte wins, LOL.
And you would think so, right?
But Becky is really Bayley's a heel right now, right? With damage control. So I feel like you still need a strong baby face, especially with Bianca starting to turn. So I'm going to say that Becky actually wins it.
Okay. Well, as I said, this match is going to go 15 minutes. It's the Becky and Charlotte match that they've wrestled a million times. So, again, I'm not going to go too deep into it.
I know what it looks like.
The finish is that Charlotte... Yep. The finish is that Charlotte does have Becky in the figure 8. And Becky is desperate, trying to reach out to the ropes. And she does reach the ropes. The referee's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then Charlotte lets go. Charlotte grabs Becky, pulls her back to the center, does her... And right as she goes for the figure 8, Becky grabs her, rolls her up for a quick 1, 2, 3 pin.
Got her on the small package. Very nice.
Right, and then Becky rolls out of the ring. Charlotte is still pissed at her, tries to chase her down, but Becky celebrates outside the ring, still limping a little bit from the injury, but she won the match.
Well, I think this was a good move as far as, again, I basically said it right before when I chose who win. You need to have strong baby faces right now, and beating Charlotte's a good way to be one.
Although it was a flash pinfall, it was a roll-up, so...
Hey, a gotcha pin is a gotcha pin. You win, you win. It doesn't matter how you get it.
Fair enough. Now, we have a vignette for you, Sean.
I like vignettes.
And this vignette is going to take place dark night. It's New York City. It's cold. Everything's in black and white. There's steam coming out. It's late. There's hardly anybody around. But you hear the sound of fighting. You hear the sound of men grunting. And you can hear the blows of bones being broken. And then as you get these like flash images of the city life, like the city, the steam from the manholes, the taxis, the people walking around, you zoom in on an alley, and there's 5 guys surrounding this one person. But this one person is kicking the other 5 guys' asses. Basically, he grabs one, throws him against a concrete wall, grabs another 2, throws him into a dumpster. He stops one guy's punch and basically like breaks his hand, and the guy's kind of like screaming that the hand's broken, and then he gets lifted up in the air and thrown against another wall. And then the last guy, again, punches him in the face, and the big man grabs him by the throat, choke slam down. The camera goes up behind the man. All leather jacket, all leather pants. He turns around, grabs a pair of glasses and puts it on. It's Dijak. And the vignette slowly fades away, and the words appear on screen. Dijak is coming.
Oh, Lord. So you're giving him the Wardlow treatment. All right, which is not a bad thing. I didn't think it was a bad thing. That was one of the things that actually intrigued me about AEW at the beginning, was like the actual like kind of movie style vignettes that they did for him. So I'm all for that for Dijak. And I like the fact that he's not just getting in right away. You know, you're going to kind of slow burn to his debut. So I'm all for having a vignette like this to showcase his badassery.
Right, because Dijak's gimmick right now is basically that he's an 80s movies action hero.
Yeah,
we need that 80s movie action trailer.
Yeah, like Blade Runner. You know, that was the first thing I got, like either Blade Runner or like a Terminator not named Kenny Omega.
In many ways, like the Punisher.
Him too. There's a lot of them like that.
Yeah, but again, I am excited about this gimmick for Dijak. I think it's going to be fun.
Oh, you've got me in so far. I'm in so far. Let's see what happens.
We'll see what happens. But next, what's happening is the World Tag Team Championship match. DIY defending against the NXT generation, Dominik Guerrero and Rex Steiner.
Well, how much is Austin Theory going to get involved? And moreover, do you take the belts off DIY this quickly? I say maybe.
You say maybe, but how long is that maybe?
16 minutes.
I'm gonna go 12.
All right.
And you are picking the generation to win?
Yeah, surprise me.
Well, I'll see. Anyways, this is going to be the standard tag team match. DIY is on top first. NXT generation get advantage because Austin Theory is a scumbag and he, helps them cheat, distraction. Johnny Gargano is the babyface in peril. They work on Johnny. Johnny gets just like a little shot on Rex Steiner, and then he's trying to go for the hot tag to Ciampa. He makes the hot tag to Ciampa as Rex Steiner makes the hot tag to Dominik Guerrero, and Ciampa's a house of fire on Dominik Guerrero. Comeback stuff, you know how it goes.
I do.
So Ciampa makes the cover on Guerrero, and Steiner, of course, comes in and stops it. Johnny Gargano gets involved and basically starts kicking Rex Steiner in the legs, and Ciampa starts helping out too, and they work together on Steiner. They grab him and they throw him over the ropes. Johnny Gargano goes off the opposite ropes. Ciampa holds down the top rope so Johnny Gargano can do a suicide dive to Rex Steiner and take him out.
Fair.
As the referee is watching this and basically yelling at Steiner and Gargano, Austin Theory has jumped up to the ring apron. Ciampa chases him down, and Theory throws a pair of brass knucks to Dominik Guerrero. And Ciampa tries to swing at Theory. Theory ducks it, grabs Ciampa, and holds him in place for Dominik Guerrero to use the brass knucks.
Uh-huh.
You with me so far?
I'm with you.
As Guerrero goes for the brass knucks, Ciampa ducks it, and Guerrero hits Austin Theory in the face.
Oops.
And knocks him out cold.
Oops.
And Don Guerrero is like horrified at this, realizing what he's just done. But before anything else, Ciampa stuns him with a DDT, picks him up, hits Project Ciampa, cover, 1, 2, 3, DIY retain.
All right. Giving them a little more street cred as a team. That's I mean, it's a good defense against a good team that you're not necessarily ready to push on a major scale yet in generation. Not me, but them. In the NXT generation of people that are generated from next people who are generated. Like Dominik Guerrero and Rex Steiner, who are you're working on generating into that next people who generate the wrestlers. And thankfully, in our generation, you have people who want to do it themselves, like Gargano and Ciampa, who I gave you because I was doing dick all and nothing with them. And you were able to repair the friendship and make this something valuable. So a good first title defense.
And they're not a bunch of degenerates.
No. That's we already saw the one degenerate on this show.
Which, by the way, DIY is their second defense. Their first defense, they beat the Usos in December.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they had that match too. So this is well, even still, a good second defense. Then you're giving them some stuff.
No, wait, they beat the New Day. I can't remember. God damn it. Watch season 3, folks.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sky, if you ever want to jog your memory, all you have to do is like and share and subscribe and switch that bell button to all, because on this channel is every ACPW versus NWL show that we've ever done. As a matter of fact, Sky, there is a playlist with every ACPW and NWL show ever that we've put on our channel from season 1, episode 1 draft all the way up to now. So it's just a short click away if you want to know the canon that Skylar cannot seem to remember at this exact moment.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now we'll go on to the next match. It is the number 4 ranked contender, Kevin Owens, versus the number 5 ranked contender, Sami Zayn.
All right. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. What do you got?
And the reason why these best friends are feuding with each other is because Kevin Owens betrayed Sami Zayn in November, because that's what these two do to each other.
In perpetuity throughout the universe.
And every multiverse.
That's right. So there's only one constant, and that is Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will be fighting and friending forever.
And speaking of, who wins in how many minutes?
Kevin Owens, because Sami Zayn never wins these matches.
Okay, and how many minutes?
9.
I'm gonna give it 14.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, like they could ever restrain. They were probably ordered to go 9 and just went 14.
I mean, that's probably what ended up happening. Again, we've seen Kevin and Sami wrestle so many times, I'm not going to get into it. The one thing I will note is the finish. Kevin Owens tries to go for the pop-up powerbomb. Sami Zayn stops him, backs up Kevin Owens into the corner, drop kicks him into the corner. He goes to the other side, gets ready for the hula kick, and he goes for the hula kick, and Kevin Owens with a cheap shot below the belt. One giant kick to the balls.
Intentional disqualification.
Intentional disqualification.
What a dick.
In Los Angeles.
Oh, of course. Of course.
So the fans are booing. They're angry. Kevin Owens grabs Sami Zayn, hits another pop-up powerbomb, decides that's not enough, grabs him, hits a second one. The referee's starting to get mad. Kevin Owens gives the referee a stunner.
Then he goes over to the announce table. And then he puts Sami Zayn in there with a pop-up powerbomb. Then he gets the referee and goes to the Spanish announce table. and hits a pop-up powerbomb on the referee in the announce table. Then screams
Okay, first off,
in Lesnar,
okay,
and then leaves.
okay. First things first, yes, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn does the pop-up powerbomb on Sami Zayn on the announce table. Not the referee, though. Not the referee.
Well, that was almost the exact same finish of Elimination Chamber.
Except I'm going to include a stretcher job. Kevin Owens is leaving as Kurt Angle runs over to the announce table spot with paramedics, and they get Sami Zayn out.
So, is this partially a way of writing Sami Zayn off because you don't currently have anything for him? Or is this just part of selling Kevin Owens as like such a bastard that he's going to be in a bigger feud of consequence?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I mean, here's the thing. What can you do with an extended Sami Zayn Kevin Owens feud?
Not a whole hell well. That's WWE, but it also took them like 3 years and lucking into Sami Zayn bouncing into one of the best situations he could possibly be in to make that happen. So as it currently stands, I understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Right, and again, I need to keep Kevin Owens as like, with Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre as the top heels of my company, Kevin Owens could very easily fall down the card, and I need him to stay at least somewhat relevant.
Yeah, understandable, definitely understandable.
I mean, again, Alexander Hammerstone is the top babyface, especially now that I've traded away AJ Styles. So, like, he needs a bunch of heels that he can compete against.
Understandable, which is a good way to have Kevin Owens back in kind of that mix. And I also think I never really loved Kevin Owens as a babyface. He's okay as a babyface, but I've never loved it. I've always thought he was just better being just such a dick because that's what he's good at being.
Kevin Owens, to me, feels like a competent version of what Dean Ambrose is supposed to be. And yeah, Dean Ambrose is or John Moxley now, whatever. The point is that, like, John Moxley is like this hardcore brawler, whatever. He does this, he does that. Kevin Owens he's a hardcore guy, but he understands how to be a regular wrestler.
Yeah, and he's comfortable with doing both and not bleeding all the time. And all of the other ridiculous...
Lord knows we need more bleeding.
Yeah, no, well, I wouldn't mind seeing more blood in WWE at times when it counts, but I would rather just have blood at times when it counts, instead of just gratuitously all over the place. I wouldn't have it be such an issue that you can't get a proper grading for your video game because there's so much of it.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to head backstage for a second in the trainer's room. And in the trainer room is Dominik Guerrero, who's getting an ice pack, Rex Steiner, who's laying face down, and Austin Theory, who's pacing the court angry. And Austin's like, we had it. We had the tag team championships. They were right there. What was that, Dominik? And Dominik's like, AOSA, chill. We just missed the spot. It's okay. We'll get the tag team titles again. And Austin Theory's like, no, that was our one shot. Can't you see? We've been failing for a lot of times, and it's you. And Dominik's like, hold up, what now? And Austin's like, yeah, it's you. We lost to the New Day because of you. We lost the tag team championships because of you. What are you adding to this group? Because all I see is not the next generation. All I see is a failure. Of course, Dominik Guerrero is now up to his feet. He's looking at Austin like, hey, you want to go right now? Because I'll go right now. And of course, Rex Steiner's trying to play peacemaker like, whoa, guys, back up. And Austin's like, all right, here's what we're going to do. You and me, losers out. And Dominik's like, cool, I'm good with that.
So is that happening next time?
That's happening next time.
All right. The Mega Powers implode. But they're both mini. The mini powers implode. It's Dominik and Austin. Is Rex Steiner going to be special guest referee?
No.
But he will be there.
No, he's not. He will be there.
He'll be there.
Conflicted, but what do you think of the idea of this?
I think that Austin Theory is more capable of leading a competent match with Dominik than Rex would be if you were putting in that context. I don't know where this is heading, because now you have the interest of what is Rex going to do and how is he going to decide, and so I'm all for this. It definitely makes the next week's match quite intriguing.
Fair enough. Now we have the triple threat co-main event: Toni Storm versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley.
Well, I don't think you would make Bianca Belair win here. Toni Storm's the champion currently, right?
No, Rhea has the belt.
Rhea has the belt.
She got the belt because Bianca Belair cost Toni Storm the title, even though Toni wasn't really doing anything wrong. It was just incidental contact, and Bianca got bad at Toni. That's why she hit her.
Okay, I'm going to say Rhea pins Toni to retain.
Oh.
Yes. That's what I said. I said Rhea pins Toni to retain.
Okay. And how many minutes?
As many minutes as it takes. 21.
As many minutes as you're willing to pay, because Rhea Ripley is fine.
That's right. Yeah, as many as I can afford. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you can afford time, and you're going to get a lot of time because this is going to be a 16-minute match. A lot of the match is Toni and Bianca going against each other, and Rhea kind of being like, okay, you two just do your thing. I mean, I'll come in and do a pot shot every once in a while. And then sometimes they would attack Rhea, but always the two of them go back and forth against each other. The finish is that Toni's trying to go for a Storm Zero. Bianca gets her up for the KOD instead. And Rhea Ripley just spears Bianca Belair, who was holding Toni Storm, and they all fall down.
Ashes.
Screw you. And then Rhea Ripley grabs Bianca Belair, throws her out of the ring, grabs Toni Storm, hits the Riptide, cover 1, 2, 3.
Yay! I got that right.
You got that right.
And
I can't take the belt off Rhea after I just gave it to her.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine so. I couldn't imagine contextually that was ever going to be a possibility. So, and I couldn't imagine that you're going to give Bianca, who just turned heel, a loss. Because that would just make no sense. That would be like, okay, then why did you bother? Because the whole point of turning heel is to give you a fresh coat of paint, and then you're just going to bury your flatter in 4 o'clock, to quote Jim Cornette. Yeah, so I felt like Rhea pinning Toni was basically the only move you had.
Right. Now, of course, here's the aftermath. Bianca Belair is, of course, pissed that she lost the title, looks at Toni Storm in the middle of the ring and blames her again, picks her up and throws her out of the ring, and she starts fighting her. Toni starts fighting back, and those two basically fight off through the crowd.
All right.
So Rhea Ripley is celebrating inside the ring, and then here comes Bayley and Dakota Kai and Io Sky to assault Rhea Ripley and beat her up, and then players boot, splash, Rose Plant, Bayley grabs the title and basically poses over Rhea Ripley's prone body.
Well, okay. The only thing I don't love about this is Rhea being made to look like she's down and beaten, even though it's 3-on-1. I understand why you do it. I do, especially after a hard triple threat match, and I'm all for Bayley like staking her claim. I just don't like the fact that Bayley's just laying, like, basically got her foot over Rhea Ripley, of all people. And I think it's just my bias talking here. Not necessarily reflective of your booking, but because I just love Rhea so much that...
Well, that's the thing, is that it solidly turns Rhea Ripley back into a babyface. Because I had her for a heel for a while. I'm just like, let's make her just a cool goth chick and have her be a babyface.
Which this would definitely do. I mean, even getting the heat on this with the 3-on-1 attack You know what I mean? Even if Rhea found a way to escape at the end of it, and then again, that's just me. That is just me personally. But it still did what you wanted it to do, which I figured that's where you were heading with this, was getting Rhea into. I forgot whether she was babyface or heel, but this basically answered all the questions I had going into the match, which is exactly what you want to do if you're going to book a triple threat match. So I'm all for it.
Cool. Now, before we begin the main event, we do have a slot for an advertisement. And the reason why this advertisement exists is because we need something to get our minds ready for what's going to be a Clash of the Titans. And what's going to get us in the mind is great music. And Sean, tell me what that great music is.
That's right, folks. AB Production CT is proud to bring to you two industry-busting artists slowly but surely taking the music industry by storm. And we have 128 different monetizable musical projects that include but are not limited to The Wax Apocalypse, Just a Bit More, Bear Men, Recovering, Retreat. We have Mixed Bag 2, and that's all on Spotify and Apple Music. And then there's the entire SoundCloud anthology, which has all sorts of sagas and a whole mess of other things we've had from the very first time that we started putting things out in 2016 all the way up to now. And there is more coming on that. That is, we're going to be giving a little more details of in the coming weeks and months. But it is a whole lot of music that a whole lot of people don't know about, but you are getting the inside look, because it is high time for the music industry to be shaken to its core, and the best way to do that is to join the genre-blending artists by joining the entertainment revolution known as AB Production CT. And with that, we move on to our main event of the evening.
And thank you for that plug. And our main event, a Clash of the Titans it is. Alexander Hammerstone versus the number one contender, Bobby Lashley.
Well, I'm guessing that because you've had some matches go some length here, I don't imagine that you're going to have this go 25 minutes. I don't. I'm going to say that this goes like 10. And Hammerstone's going to retain.
Well, I was going to go 25, but now that you say that, I'm going to go 24 so you lose the Price is Right rules.
Oh, great. Thanks. All right. Well, that's fine. Well, I said 10, so I still am making it well under. I mean, I probably would have been outbid, but anyway.
But I trust Alexander Hammerstone and Bobby Lashley to wrestle a 24-minute match.
I do too. Can I just real quickly, before you give the finish here, I just want to say something kind of unrelated, because I heard whispers or like some dirt sheet saying that a WWE star believes that Vince is back on creative. Have you heard this?
I've heard this a little bit. I don't know. Do you think the booking of Elimination Chamber was at all any part Vince?
Here's the thing. The Bobby Lashley-Brock Lesnar match was straight out of Vince's playbook. When you think about it, that was straight up Vince, and no other Bobby Lashley-Lesnar match was like that. Even the ones that were under Vince weren't like that. If there was one match you would look to go, well, I don't know, maybe, that's the one. I don't think it's the case, personally, but I just wanted to make a note of that, because that whole interaction with them and like the high spam finishers, because it's two big beefy boys, that's what cracks me up about that. And so that's why I said Bobby Lashley at 10, because I had kind of that whole predisposition in mind. But you know what? 24 minutes, I'd still be down for a 24-minute match between Hammerstone and Bobby Lashley.
Right, I would be too. Of course, Hammerstone is going to work underneath for the majority of it. He does get his comeback. The finish is that Lashley does have Hammerstone in the Hurt Lock, and Hammerstone, through some force of will, is able to break it.
Wow.
But of course, Bobby Lashley has weakened him and basically throws him against the post. And Lashley is preparing to go for a spear to finish him off, right?
Yeah.
He goes for the spear, and Hammerstone, just out of instinct, dodges it, and Lashley hits the post.
Okay.
And Hammerstone grabs Lashley in the launch position and hits the burning hammer. Cover 1, 2, 3. Hammerstone retains.
I like that you protect the burning hammer and you protect the finisher, like one and done. That is something that I have noticed that you don't do a whole lot of finisher kickouts on your, especially when it comes to your top guys. So I do respect that.
I think it depends on what the finisher is. Like, I can break up a submission because it's been broken before.
Right, yeah. But I mean, it still means something that the Hurt Lock's been broken.
Right, but the burning hammer is supposed to be that big move. It's his goddamn what the hell was that? That's amazing move. The only person that's kicked out of it so far is Roman Reigns, and he only kicked out of it barely once.
Right. And the fact that Bobby didn't, which is, you know, for as much as Bobby has been on a rampage, that's going to bother Bobby more than I think anything else. Is all it took was one.
Yep. Now, there's a post-match. Hammerstone grabs a microphone and says, "Cut my music. Get this trash out of here," as Bobby Lashley is rolled out. "Drew McIntyre, get your Scottish ass out here right now." And, of course, we're waiting and like, oh, that's what I thought. The Scottish psychopath has become the Scottish coward. Get out of here right now. And now Drew McIntyre comes out and stands on the stage with his own microphone. And Hammerstone's like, "All right, Drew, you blindsided me in December. You hit me in the head with that chair. I have one question, Drew. Why?" Actually, you know what? It doesn't matter why. Because I'm going to get my receipt. And Drew is like, "Well, somebody appears to be cranky." Hammerstone, you ask why? What you hold in your hand is why. I want that title back. I was champion during COVID. I was on top of my game. And what happens the second that these fans come back? Apathy. You are all losers. All of you don't know what greatness is. I was greatness. I was world champion. And the second that you all come back, you all move on to the next new shiny thing. I guess that's what happens when simple-minded folks come to these wrestling shows, and simple-minded folks just latch on to the newest thing. Hammerstone, you don't realize it, do you? The people may love you now, but once the new next shiny thing rolls around, you're going to be forgotten about like an old plaything. I mean, look at this town's Los Angeles Lakers.
Boo, even though it's true, boo.
And Hammerstone's like, "Really, Drew? Really? That's it? That's all? Just admit it. You didn't attack me because of these people. You didn't attack me because this title doesn't belong to you. You attacked me because you couldn't get the job done. I mean, I kicked your ass twice for the title, so it's not that big of a surprise now, is it?" And Drew's like, "Hammerstone, you know, you are a little bit of a bright man. You're smart. I did do it because I hate you. But I will be taking back what is rightfully mine. Next month, you and me." And Hammerstone's like, next month, come on down right now. Let's go. I'm ready. I have a referee right here. Let's go right now. And of course, the fans are cheering like, "Yay!"
Okay. Is he going to actually come down and do this?
React.
Is he going to actually
react?
Are they actually doing this?
Drew McIntyre is making it like he's going to walk to the ring. He gets halfway, and he's like, "On my terms, Hammerstone.
Yeah,
on my terms."
Think so.
And then drops the microphone and walks off.
Boo.
And that's how we end the show.
So you end the show with a promo segment basically setting up the next month's pay-per-view. So you got some television to kind of milk that for back and forth. And I definitely get the reasoning here as far as Drew coming there. I don't necessarily love the fact that Hammerstone kind of downplayed the whole plight of, like, you could say, you know, I beat your ass twice already, but, like, I don't know. I feel like, to me, more it's like, it's almost that you hate yourself. You know, can I say because you couldn't get the job done? Yes, it's like, but it's more like you hate yourself because whenever time you see me and you see like nobody cared when you came back, that's because you weren't that interesting. You aren't that interesting, Drew. You're just a plain guy.
I mean, Sean, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Did you look at my notes?
Which notes? The ones that you wrote down for this show?
Well, what I have for next show and the promo package that was going to play on the next show.
Well,
because that's the thing is that, like, my concept is that instead of doing TV shows every single month, I do a pay-per-view with TV in between, and during those TV segments, that's when those promos will be happening, and you would explore Drew McIntyre's reasoning a little bit more.
Yeah, because that would kind of be where I would go with that. It's like, listen, in the effort to stay relevant, you know, timing is everything in this sport, and unfortunately, sport, you got bad timing. And it's, yeah, and I could see the TV in the following weeks being quite fun leading up to this upcoming match. And Drew, he was another guy, kind of like Bianca, that needed a heel turn, and you finally pulled the trigger on it. And I think that now these two going after it this time for the championship is a good spot. But having this layover, and how is Roman Reigns going to fit into this situation? Because you know that at some point he's going to want another shot at that belt, but he's still got to take care of some business first. So you've got a lot of places you can go in the coming weeks, Guy, and I really do. I look forward to seeing how it goes.
Thank you very much. This was a show that came together at the last minute, but I'm happy where it came from.
Yeah, and I think once again we've gotten off to a great start here in ACPW and NWL Season 4, and there's only further places we can go. We didn't even get to like half of the rest of our rosters, and that's the really fun part, is there's a lot more to come, folks. And like usual, Sky, how do they know when to find Court Martial Podcasts?
Well, to like, share, and subscribe, hit the bell, so make sure that when we come on, you know when it comes.
That's right, folks. Never know. We'll never know because we can't see him. And speaking of things you cannot see any more of, this podcast has to go to a first commercial break. Skylar, thank you for a great kickoff to our ACPW and NWL season.
Okay, sounds good.
Sounds good to me, sounds good to you, and we will see all of you right after this.